Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. What's your idea of the best life that you could possibly live? If money wasn't a factor, how do you envision living your happiest life? Is it traveling the world with a lover, financial freedom, or maybe it's just quality time with loved ones? No matter what, I believe defining your purpose is a great starting point to designing your best life. And to live a life that's purposeful, you should do what you're meant to do. I read something the other day and it struck a chord with me. It's actually a quote from Confucius, and it goes, "You have two lives, and the second one begins when you realize you have one." So how do we create the life that we truly want? By the way, this is not a self-help video. It's a design video because I'm going to use principles of design and apply them to life. So the first principle I want to talk to you guys about is balance. Now in design, balance is usually how the elements are arranged together, either symmetrically, asymmetrically. It creates the impression of equality in weight and in importance. I love this first principle, not just because I'm a Libra, shout out to my Libras out there. Let's say if we swap elements with your own values. These values are going to be different for everyone because everyone's working on their own design of life. Some people are going to value career success while other people are going to value artistic expression. Some will value health and fitness while other people are going to value travel and leisure and spending quality time with friends and family. So a question I ask myself, is there a good balance between my work, my relationships, and my own health? These three things that I value the most are essential when planning out my routines or when I'm doing monthly goal setting. Think about it like this. Life is a composition you're constantly working on. And I would say a good actionable first step would be to get away from all the noise or get rid of all the noise. Declutter your mind. And the noise could be anything. It could be friend groups that are not serving you anymore. It could be certain habits that you've developed, or it could even be social media. Now, I'm not saying to take a break from social media forever. In fact, I personally like taking temporary breaks for short periods of focus because I know it's going to increase my flow, I know it's going to increase my productivity, and overall it's going to just make me more efficient. And I suggest you stick to the end of the video because I'm going to share a valuable resource that's going to help you find your balance when it comes to work, business, and life in general. Alright, principle number 2, scale. There's a phrase that says big is always better, but that's not the case here in design. So if you think about it, sometimes we overwhelm ourselves because we try to scale too fast. So here's the thing, before we even try to scale, we have to have our overall foundation, and that goes back to our values. You first gotta scale the mind, and then you scale the grind. And don't forget, health is wealth, my friends. Contrast is important in design because it tells us the arrangement of opposite elements, and it's usually the contrast between two colors. Let's say this orange here is who you were 5 years ago, or even a year ago. Basically your past self. Now let's say this blue represents the best life you could live, or who you strive to be in the next 5 to 10 years. We'll come back to that in a minute. So why is contrast important in life and how does it apply to us? Contrast is important because the meaningful essence of anything is defined by its value, its properties, or quality relative to something else. So if you think about it, that's pretty deep. It's pretty much saying that nothing has any meaning by itself. It has to be compared to something. There can't be any good days without any bad days. There can't be any light without dark. Batman, Superman. So with that in mind, contrast really gives us clarity. It tells us, okay, we don't want to go in that direction. I actually want to go in this direction. So let's go back to the orange and blue. Let's say today you're right now in orange or maybe somewhere in between. Well, at least you're self-aware of your own current situation. But the question is, how the f do I get to blue? So I put these two principles together because I think they're really similar when it comes to applying them to our own life. So pattern is a repetition of specific visual elements, while movement and rhythm is the intensity of that repetition. So if you think about it, we already have patterns in our own life. Whether they're working for you or against you, these are routines and habits that you're probably doing right now. Most of these routines and habits are subconscious, so they're things that we do already without even thinking about it. Now, the good thing is, you're alive. You could always change the design of your own life. and apply new patterns, new routines. That's why I say the first principle is having a balance and really understanding what you really value and what you're really trying to get out of life. Everyone wants to design the best life that they could possibly live, but no one really wants to put in the work or the effort. So it's really that dedication that's going to separate you from everyone else. You see, the most important part is having the intention, and then you capitalize on that intention by having action and making that action consistent. That's what movement and rhythm are. One of the greatest minds, Albert Einstein, once said, "Life is a great tapestry. The individual is only an insignificant thread in an immense and miraculous pattern." Emphasis in design is what catches the viewer's attention. The area could be different in size, color, shape, etc. So I'm just gonna say this: what's something in life that you could emphasize right now? Well, I'll give you a personal example. I wanted to start a YouTube channel, hence why I'm making this video and you're watching it. So please subscribe if you're liking the video so far. However, there are a lot of elements in my life that were just keeping me busy. This could be my full-time job. This could be having a consistent workout schedule and also freelancing on the side. But by prioritizing and setting patterns, the only thing left for me to do was hold myself accountable to press record and make these videos. I would also add that you should emphasize what you're naturally good at. My advice to you is find something you're good at and create routines or patterns, in this case, that are going to help you level up that skill. In fact, there's a simple yet effective tool that my mentor showed me a while back that I think could be very powerful when it comes to applying these principles to your life. Well, before we dive into that tool, we have to talk about the last principle, unity. So what happens when we put all these elements together? Well, my friends, you get your composition, and in this case, your composition is your life. So basically, this tool that I'm talking to you guys about is called the Wheel of Life, and pretty much everything that we've discussed here, all these principles of design, what this tool does, it helps you evaluate where you're currently at, and it gives you the clarity you need in order to meet your goals and to really focus on other areas of life that might need to be improved on. In fact, let's dive in here right now. We could take this resource here. So what you do is you take this assessment, and it's totally free, and it provides you a complete view of your life across the most common domains of living. So I definitely recommend taking this assessment. It's only going to take you like around less than 5 minutes to complete it, but it helps you give the clarity that you might need for those next steps.